A2000 EST OCOEE. They said if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. They said my time's wasted if I ain't chasing a bag. But pops told me never chase nothing. Only here to lead lost souls to the kingdom that's fast. I only focus on the kingdom and everything else that I need. I know it will attract. If I lose it all now, I know he'll bring it right back. I ain't worried about the cards or the clothes or the plat. Even if I ball and count big stacks, I would never put that.
Hey, what is up? It's that new be back again with yet another stream. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Let's see, so today on the stream, we're actually mostly going to be covering things from the Discord. You guys have sent in some different requests, and yeah, I'll be cycling through all of those, through all those requests, and then maybe at the end, I'll do some gaming. I don't know, we'll have to see. Probably doing like some basically solo gaming stuff where I'm playing Halo because I know we're trying to get through all of those new maps. Yeah, and yeah, I can listen to chat as I do so. This, by the way, is actually rather nice, I think. This is a lo-fi remix of Fruits of My Labor by Caleb Gordon. Pretty good. I'm digging it. Man, do you guys want me to talk about Trump's appearance on CNN? Because that was kind of crazy. But you know, most of it I thought was just Trump dunking on CNN, and kind of their like a lot of they're mostly false claims. You know, CNN isn't wrong about everything. But most of it was, just an argument, more or less. It was, Trump taking in questions, and then Caitlin Collins getting mad and having an attitude about it. You want to know the funny thing? You want to know the funny thing about Caitlin Collins' performance on CNN is that, like, with her attitude, like, I was watching the town hall, right? And I was thinking, I was like, with her like mannerisms and her behavior, she's not unattractive, but I bet that based on her attitude alone, she is single and without children. And I was right, she is single and without children, so I thought that was pretty funny. She is single and without children, so I thought that was pretty funny. But one thing that I did learn though by browsing her, her Wikipedia page, is while she's single and without children, she has used the F slur. So I mean, very, very nice, very cool. No, it's not cool at all. No, I'm just making fun of her. But yeah, very clearly she is a very pleasant and nice person. So, bravo to CNN for picking, such a likable character to helm the CNN town hall. They actually have some decent folks, even if they're agenda driven. Like CNN has like Jake Tapper. He's not, he's pretty good by CNN standards. They could have picked him. He's even like moderated presidential debates before, I thought. But, they just very clearly picked the wrong person here. But I think CNN is getting a little bit thin on the talent side, to be honest. Like, I can't really think of many, shining stars of CNN who aren't, like, part of the old guard. I still respect Wolf Blitzer for, at one point, doing 5 hours of television a day on CNN. That was insane. But anyways, let's see. We've got some other reacts here. Hold on, let me just cycle through the react requests. See what we have. Okay, we've got this from Mini Wheat. Actually, hold on, wait a second. First of all, I did see this video that I wanted to react to. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Alright, I wanted to check this video out. This is called The Age of YouTubers is Over.
Well, basically, I don't know exactly what the actual intention of this video is, but it's a commentary video. So welcome back to 2000.
Yeah, let me rewind there.
Well, basically, I don't know exactly what the actual intention of this video is, but it's a commentary video. So welcome back to 2018.
You serious?
I just whipped up this
2018.
video like...
It's funny how like people will say that this type of content is like 2018 content, yet it's very much thriving in 2023. Either that or you know, maybe I'm stuck in 2018.
a quick little treat for you to enjoy if you even care, mainly just to speak my mind on this particular topic. Because for the last 3 years, I've essentially just kind of separated myself from reality, making all kinds of clickbait videos in order to get the most YouTube views off of this YouTube algorithm. But now it's time to just kind of go back to the roots. I wanted to just discuss on how the age of YouTubers is over. Are you still with me here? Okay. So basically, in the before times, there was essentially just one way to go about doing something. Like, for example, being a YouTuber.
Oh, hey, Mr. Pizza, what's up? It was good. It was chill. Like, I worked, and then I took a multiple hours long nap. And I wasn't expecting it to go as long as it did, but I guess it was needed. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, Mr. Pizza, how are you? Nice to see you in the chat, man.
And that was through turning on your camera and recording yourself and then putting it out there. As the name pertains to. This is what made this stand out, essentially, from the things like paid broadcasting, Netflix, because it is what separated the big bucks, the actual corporations, the actual people that have the money, with real people, the people who should have the most influence, because they actually are us. So that's why YouTube worked, and that's why the idea of it went so far. And I'll even go so far as to say that that is what made...
For context, that video over there is, I believe it's the first or oldest YouTube video ever. One of the two.
Made it the best idea to ever be made in the entire internet. And yes, even better than Bitcoin. Because when you turn on the TV, it's all about what people want to see being pushed to the top. Wrong. It's not that.
It's what the companies want you to see.
It's only about what pays the most money to get there, or what makes the most money, for example.
Okay, well,
so YouTube for all of these years.
Also, bro, what the heck are these shaders? I'm not sure how I feel about how this Minecraft gameplay looks with those shaders, to be honest.
Was nothing but people running the entire thing. It was people at the top, people at the bottom, and all in the middle. It was just nothing but people, because that is what made the website what it was. Now, of course, just having other things like resources in order to expand yourself to make better videos is nothing inherently wrong. But things have evolved. They've evolved quite literally backwards. And that's because it has now come to the point where YouTube is literally just TV. The things at the very top are only the things that make the most money. When we talk about things like T-Series, for example, the controversy of T-Series existing and taking over the one biggest YouTuber and becoming the #1 channel, being the most hated thing instantly in the entire universe, because it was a company, the exact opposite of what represents YouTube. But there was nothing awry.
Yeah, I mean, but we're supporting Mr. Beast now, right? Like, who is very much almost a company at this point. I know he started, making stuff on his own, but like he is essentially like a whole company now. But I think it's kind of cool that we can have, there's still one big difference, I think, between, these corporations who make content for television and these like individual creators who are on YouTube still chasing money. I feel like with these great big companies, there are more corporate interests involved in their finances than in the finances of YouTubers. So, like, I'm trying to think. So, a YouTuber who's on YouTube, who does, like, let's say political commentary, will not be pressured as much to push a particular narrative that like as like maybe someone on like cable news, for example. Like, you know, of course there are going to be things that you can't say on YouTube, and there are things that you can say on YouTube that will take away your monetization. But at the end of the day, you don't need to like support a particular political narrative if you don't want to. In the meantime, I feel like you know, if you're like on like, let's say like cable news or something, there are certain narratives that you just have to support. You know, if you're gonna get funding from like Pfizer or Moderna or I don't know, a BlackRock owned company or like one of these things. So I do think there's still a difference between like the YouTube company and companies that create content for cable television and stuff. Mr. Beast, no, sorry, not Mr. Beast. Mr. Pizza says Mr. Beast is a company you say. Yeah, I agree. He's a company that gets canceled on Twitter with every upload. He's not canceled. How is Mr. Beast canceled? I don't think he's canceled. I think that the controversy over Chris was incredibly overblown. I don't think that, frankly, I'm not seeing much of a reaction to it. Now, maybe it's because Mr. Beast hasn't uploaded yet. But Mr. Beast, and we'll get to this later, but Mr. Beast gets canceled over like frivolous things that like are completely inconsequential. So look, if you're gonna get canceled for giving away free healthcare, especially if you're in the private sector, I don't think that like you should worry too much about it. Like to me, I feel like the people who cancel you, the kind of people who cancel you, if they're canceling you for a reason that's dumb or stupid or doesn't make sense, then the cancellation should just be ignored. So if people are, what, did he cure some more blindness? Because if he cured some more blindness, then okay, who cares that he got canceled? It's probably a good thing, right? If you got all of these people who are mad that people can see, and now they're riled up, maybe that signals that Mr. Beast did a good thing. I think there can be something to be said for making the right people upset. Now, we should never have a goal of making those people upset, but if they get mad, that's on them. That's entirely on them. You know, I am not like a big, like, I don't like caping for Mr. Beast necessarily. That's not necessarily my jam or my thing, but I'm just saying that even though I disagree with some of the things that Mr. Beast has done, I also think that, you know, you shouldn't try to cancel someone for doing things that are either innocuous or things that are good, which I think is like half of the reasons why people want to ban, or not ban, but why people want to cancel Mr. Beast.
In the situation, it was just supply and demand. People wanted to watch T-Series. It wasn't actually sub-bots, which is why it's just kind of peculiar how when Mr. Beast, for example, exists, being the exact same thing, a company with over 100 employees, it's almost like none of that ever even happened. And by no means am I trying to say that Mr. Beast is the same thing as T-Series. Of course it's not. Mr. Beast is a channel that intends to make videos to get the most views possible, whereas T-Series just intends to make music.
Yeah, and that's one big difference too, and I like how the Tekkit Realm set up this distinction, right, between trying to make the most money, being the goal, versus trying to get the most viewers being a goal. Because if you're like one of those corporations and you're getting funding from Pfizer and Moderna and all these BlackRock companies, then, you know, if not as many people are watching your content, but those people are donating money or funding your productions, then you are making more money in the end. But Mr. Pizza ain't getting no BlackRock funding. Like, no, Pfizer and Moderna aren't you know, doing like brought to you by voiceovers for Mr. Beast's content. So there is one nice thing about being direct to consumer where you've got less hands in the pot, and the only people you really need to serve are you know, your viewers, and maybe to some extent you know, the website that is hosting your content as well. Mr. Beast said, Mr. Beast, as much as he does good for people, he at the end of the day just flexes his wealth, and then he goes and reacts to horrible things like near deaths. I've never seen Mr. Beast do reaction to near death experiences. So also, wait, hold on, I'm a little bit confused. Why is near death experiences like the hill that you guys like to die on as far as like what not to react to? What is it? Is it people talking about their near death experiences, or are these like videos of people almost dying? generally, I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I'm actually a reactor, but I don't mind people doing react content to even things that are shocking. I was actually thinking about doing a reaction to Ashley Babbitt getting shot because during Trump's town hall, he mentioned, and this is like one of the few things I disagreed with on what he said. He said that when it came to talk about January 6th, that he said that Ashley Babbitt was a patriot and that the cop who killed her was a thug. Now, I don't know whether or not Ashley Babbitt is a patriot, but I am of the strong opinion that the cop who killed Ashley Babbitt was not a thug because, at least from what I remember, it's very clear in the footage, she was part of essentially almost a mob, I guess, a group of folks who were trying to break through a barricade in the Capitol building. Now, I do believe that many of the January 6th protesters, were peaceful, but this group was not. There was a literal barricade that was protecting maybe 5, 6, 7 police officers that had to be at least 30, 40, or 50 protesters were trying to bust through, trying to get in, and I can completely understand why officers on the other side would be fearful of their life. It wasn't like they were doing TikTok dances, right, on the other side of the barricades. They were actively trying to push it over. And so then at a certain point, this officer, probably with bad trigger discipline, but still went and fired and hit Ashley Babbitt in the neck and killed her. And I was thinking about, pulling it up on the stream to be like, hey, Trump is demonstrably wrong about this. She was part of a mob who was trying to push through barricade towards police officers, and I can completely understand why a police officer would be fearful of his life at that point. But I figured it wasn't worth it because then I have to do a whole video about the town hall itself if I was going to do that just for proper context, and that would be a bunch of time. And really, I want to get to your guys' reaction requests here. If that's now, Mr. Pizza here is saying videos of people almost dying by G. It's like the most popular thing to react to. I see. I don't understand why someone would want to react to that. But I mean, hey, I was gonna react to someone who, watching someone basically die. Now, granted, it's more for this is something that happened. I'm trying to set the record straight versus like a tee hee ha ha type thing. So I don't know what types of reactions you're talking about. I don't know if these are people like actually laughing at people dying, because I think there's definitely something messed up about that. I'm strongly pro-life, so but I don't know. But I guess it probably is more tee hee ha ha thing, because it's not like a commentary thing, right? Like Mr. Beast isn't known for his deep political commentary on people almost dying, So yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Get the most views possible, but ultimately, these two companies are valued at the exact same amount as of 2023.
Wow. Actually, I didn't know that.
One has a faceless logo to it, and one has a face that goes with it, which
That's him. That's
is
the guy.
a quote-unquote YouTuber. In 2014 on YouTube, there was 90 out of the top 100 channels individual people. In 2023, out of the top 100 channels, there's 87 that are companies. And the top 20 channels are 100% companies, with the exception of good old Pewdie. If you want to be an individual influencer.
Now, part of me wonders if this is YouTube trying to boost companies, like in the algorithms, which I completely understand, right? Like, YouTube, similarly, is trying to make as much money as they can. These companies have a lot of money, but people just aren't watching cable television as much. And so these folks are probably going to try and capture that same viewership from YouTube. And I could understand if a company like Comcast or something wanted to, throw a little bit of liquidity at YouTube to grease the wheels of the algorithmic forces that lead to content creation and success. Maybe, get some more impressions on that video so more people watch it because they see it in the recommended tab. Like, I could see that happening. I could certainly see that being the case. I don't know if that's the case, but I could see if that was the case, why that would occur.
If your dream was always to entertain people for a living, basically your only option now is TikTok or YouTube Shorts.
No.
If you wonder,
Wait, is that Twitch
or YouTube Shorts?
or Twitch? The you could also succeed when Twitch is not that hard. It's crazy how distracted I could get because I didn't even see that text. I just saw the big distracting censored text. But it's not just Twitch. There's TikTok. There's also like Odyssey. Like I'm working on seeing if I can also get something set up on Odyssey. There are other ways to monetize your content, you know. So I don't think that TikTok or YouTube Shorts is the only way to make money.
If you wonder why YouTube's algorithm is shifted so much towards
there's Patreons. So many people are setting up Patreons.
YouTube Shorts at this point, just in order to beat TikTok at the very thing that they invented, then you couldn't possibly be more unaware of the world that you live in. You can either have millions of dollars, or you can try to succeed by just keeping people's attention on the screen for about 30 seconds. You will never be able to stand a chance competing otherwise, because the very programming of these platforms are rigged against you. Videos like this are the result of this basically happening. The overall dumbing.
But the thing is, like, that's 100% like a child audience, and that's why most of these channels die, except for Mr. Beast. And frankly, I think the big reason why Mr. Beast's channel has not died, and I don't think it will until there's a big scandal that comes across, which I don't think that Chris transitioning is going to qualify. I think the reason why most of these channels die is because, you know, one, the viewers either age out or they're turned off by a scandal. And I think in most cases, you have both of these forces at play. Mr. Beast has not been hit with that yet. But I think it's honestly folks who have older audiences who have audiences that tend to stick around. Now, it is true that, you know, those folks with more loyal audiences aren't as big, but they're there. They're consistent, and they're a more consistent source of income than, you know, the whims of the YouTube algorithm, which maybe they treat you nice for 1 year and then they treat you poorly for like 3 more. Mr. Beast said the age of TikTok is ending not necessarily because of companies, but because of TikTok. TikTok is slowly taking over. It feels like YouTube's mainly competing with other platforms. That's an interesting take. I would agree to a certain extent, except that YouTube has Shorts now, and I don't see Shorts succeeding on YouTube as well as like Reels are succeeding on Instagram. And also, like the stat that he said, you know, we went from 90 of the top 100 content creators being individual creators to 90 of the top 100 content creators being literal companies and corporations. So I do think that companies, to a certain extent, are having an impact. And I think part of this is also probably the fact that we have way more content creators now. Like PewDiePie would not. Yeah, I don't think that PewDiePie would be big if he started today. I don't think there's any way that he would have the level of success that he has now if he started doing YouTube today. Just because of content saturation, not even factoring in the quality of his content, which I think is fine. I just don't think it would work. Mr. Peter said, another point to make about the age of YouTubers is coming to an end is because it's not what it used to be. You can't just drop a Let's Play in 2023. Goldfish people are the audience. Are you talking about that goldfish thing? That goldfish thing is kind of cool. What's it called? What's it called? Goldfish Live or something? Goldfish TV? What? I forget what it's called. I think I know what you're talking about. Goldfish? Oh, goldfish people. You're talking about people with short attention spans. Oh, I see. I mean, I get that. But I mean, streaming is still fairly successful. Now, maybe part of it is that people find streamers and long-form content through short-form content. Like, I could see that. Like, you know, the Whatever podcast made it through, you know, that clip of that one girl saying that, you know, she broke a dude's heart for fun. You know, Andrew Tate blew up by asking, what color is your Bugatti? You know, so you know, I could see that. You know, even if you're making long form content, I guess to a certain extent, Goldfish people are your audience.
Coming down of the entire world that we see on this internet that used to be so promising, used to be able to provide actual reach as a person to the world itself. Now, unless you feel like taking an oversaturated, watered down, copy and pasted style such as this, you will not make it. You might get table scraps, don't get me wrong. You can still get places. But this is what has constantly gotten on my nerves, especially as of recently. $10 million does not equal skill. Getting to the very top on your own does not equal luck.
See, here's one thing I will say about this too, is there is one format on YouTube that is working that I'm finding. I do think that there's a specific audience that likes listening to podcasts and likes long form talking content. Now, I don't think that these like streams that I do technically fit into that into that paradigm, because it's a reaction, so you need to look. But I think that there is a certain demographic of folks who just likes to, you know, do their daily work and listen to some guy talk about some nonsense for 1, 2, 3 hours. And so I think you've seen podcasts like The Yard, for example, do very, very well on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure that that's just, you know, people listening. So I think that you know, there are lots of content creators who are like pivoting towards making that type of content like in a supplementary way on the side, like Hassan Piker, for example, who does like reaction streams, like those reaction streams kind of like how I do, because I actually kind of copy his style. But he also has a podcast that does fairly well. So I think if you want to have success, I would actually say do what you like doing, and then also maybe if you can do a podcast, your podcast will probably have more success than your actual content that you like doing. But it could be also be a pipeline to bring some folks over if you want to use it in that way. If you're just looking for success, then just do the podcast and you'll be straight. I'm actually on a podcast now where the YouTube channel has severely fewer subscribers than this channel that I'm streaming on right now, and yet the views are at least like twofold, you know, per episode, more or less. So it's like, you know, it's very, very interesting. The vast difference between short form content and long form talking, like podcast style content. First one, Mike said, "Hey, Giga Chad, I'm a drunk. My dude hung out with family." Are you saying that you are drunk, or you are going to get drunk? Getting drunk is generally something that I don't recommend, but Christian Mike said Trudeau has gotten worse. Dude is a full-blown Nazi. I thought I saw something about him in the news, like today, but I forget what it was.
It goes both ways. But the one thing that is for sure, especially at least about YouTube in general, is that the only thing that's left is the one thing that it vowed to destroy. It is TV. Whatever makes the most money is what everyone sees. It's vapid, repetitive, and meaningless. It's basically just two segregated groups at this point. The huge corporations with hundreds of employees and millions of dollars who can afford to keep your attention on the screen and have their content be palatable enough to make the money for the platform, or the everyday peasants that can maybe do that for about 10 to 30 seconds in order to dumb down the average attention span of the kids that use the internet. Kind of like you and me. And I don't want it to seem like I'm giving flack to anyone, because personally, there is nothing that I have against anything like Mr. Beast, or even T-Series, aside from the memes. I never gave a frick either way, so the age of YouTubers is over. And it's quite sad, because even when I had just first started this channel, it really wasn't like that. It truly felt invigorating to know that you could actually have a voice bigger than the companies and the celebrities and the politicians and the corporations and even the world leaders. But it's just no longer like that. I
do think that if you do a bunch of collabs that can certainly help if you're trying to make it big too. If you can do collabs that span and cross niches, but at the end of the day, I think he's kind of right. But I do think that you can dominate on YouTube as being the king of a niche, because because of YouTube's diversification at this point, that really is the way to go. You've got like 10,000 React YouTubers, but how many of them are like conservative, black, and conservative and black and have libertarian leanings? So I guess that might be why I have like a handful of viewers, because no one cares about that niche. but like, yeah, like I feel like it's YouTube is now like not a place to be the YouTuber for everyone. If you're trying to get success, it should be I'm trying to be like the czar or the guru for a certain audience. And then you can maybe pivot, do collabs, do podcasts, and things like that. But at the core level, I think that's kind of more what, the route to being successful YouTuber is probably going to look like, more than just trying to be like the next PewDiePie. Because there is no next PewDiePie. No one ever became the next PewDiePie.
As just blended in with everything else. And we're once again back to square one. But I still hope that in the future, in the distance, that there is some way that we can get that back. But either way, if you really actually watch through this whole video, then I may have just proven myself.
The closest thing that you can get to that, I think, is Twitch. Twitch is not nearly as saturated, and also it takes a lot of work to stay on Twitch, because you have to be live. If you're not live, you're not really on Twitch. Like that's how it's kind of viewed. So I think, it takes some persistence to stay there, which I think adds it creates a constant scarcity of content that needs to be filled versus a bunch of content already being there. Like technically, a YouTuber who stopped making content on YouTube can still grow, because people can just like find their videos and then just share them everywhere. Videos can go viral months after they've been posted, right? But that's not the case with Twitch. So I do think that Twitch, and this is why Twitch has more stars than YouTube right now, at least as far as I can tell, right? Like all the Twitch streamers, they all collaborate. That's one thing, because collaboration can increase your exposure to people across different niches. And hold on, I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, these people are constantly producing stuff. Now, not to say that you can't fall off if you keep on producing stuff. Like I think PewDiePie is the best example, really. I feel like PewDiePie has kind of fallen off. I have not seen him in my feed at all in a long time.
Wrong. You're actually not too far gone. My name is Dallas, aka Inferness. And essentially that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm not going to keep up any more of your time. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm going to turn on the TTS so I can hear you guys to say a little bit more clearly before I react to the next video. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, I mean, are we going to have things forever? Were we always going to have YouTubers? I guess a lot of us thought we would. But you can still have success on YouTube without... you can have success on YouTube without being like a YouTuber in like the more conventional sense. Official Mike said, I'm gonna make Welcome to China 2. I did see that LennoxO reacted to Welcome to China, so I thought that was kind of cool. That was pretty cool. Official Mike said, I saw Trudeau doing a Nazi salute, shunning Secret Island, then saying that in French and English. Really? Was he teaching a class? Like, why did he do that? I don't know. Asking was he teaching class is probably a silly question. Do we want to dive into this? Here. Here. I will let the chat decide. Do I react to this video or not? Apparently it's about let's see. It's about Nikocado Avocado. But, I'm not the biggest fan of Nikocado. I thought that the Oompaville video was great, but I mean, he's just like a mukbang YouTuber who seems to have a very unhealthy lifestyle. Official Mike said, "Where's the reaction link?" I don't think I have a link to the reaction. I never made an individual video of it just because there was so much news that I also reacted to, and I just ended up putting that on the Clips channel too. Hold on, wait a second. I'm getting a little thirsty, so give me a second. But yeah, vote in like say in the chat whether or not you want me to react to this video, and I will. Don't drink, boys. Don't drink. All right. All right, chat. You gotta let me know. Do you want me to react to the video or not? I'm actually kind of leaning towards reacting to it, not gonna lie. Like, I think it could be interesting. I know that like Mr. Pizza is a bigger fan of Penguin Zero than I am, but like these videos tend to be kind of interesting. I just slightly prefer Pyro Live's. I prefer Pyro Live and how he does his jokes to Penguin Zero. Actually, hold on, let me see. Did Pyro Live do a video about this? No, he didn't. Nikocado Avocado, Pyro Live. No. Interesting. Okay, hold on. Now, since I haven't heard from you guys in the chat, I actually saw a video about the same thing by some ordinary gamers. So I'm gonna react to this one instead.
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar. I have some genuinely good things to tell you about today. Now, I made a video on a guy known as Nikocado Avocado 2 years ago, then a year ago. And I
oh my
like
goodness, that's
my
why
videos
I'm so
have
hard
like a
to
trilogy
hear.
thing to it. You know, when I cover somebody initially, then I kind of scratch the surface a little bit more, and they turn out to be the funniest person in the world. Like Nikocado was genuinely playing a character that was about one of the douchiest things that I've ever seen on the platform. And, you know, at the time, a lot of my criticisms for Nikocado was he genuinely portrays himself in content like mukbangs, where he's constantly eating the most disgusting food at the most disgustingly high amount of quantities imaginable, and the guy was slowly ending his life for views. I wasn't the only one that covered it. Plenty of other people covered it. I know Charlie covered it. I know even all the way into the political sphere with like people like Candace Owens, they ended up covering Nikocado. The guy went pretty mainstream in about the worst ways. People were criticizing this guy's poor life decisions, and obviously he ballooned up from a cute little guy to an absolute huge person in a very short amount of time because of the diet that he was consuming. Nikocado genuinely would eat like 40 Subway sandwiches for 1 gram lost on his weight. Now, of course, Nikocado, in one of the videos a year ago where he's collaborating with Hungry Fat Chick, he's eating what appears to be like 10,000 calories worth of Takis.
How could you even do that? I like spicy food, but that looks like death. I actually like Takis. I could not eat that many Takis. What are those Takis noodles? Bro. Dude had to like go call 911 and you know get a fireman to put out the fire that'll be in his throat after that. Like, bro, what?
Now, of course, this is ramen noodles baked with Takis. All right, I've never had a Taki in
Ramen noodles baked with Takis actually sounds fire.
my life. I don't think they sell those in Canada, to be honest with you. He puts it into a bowl. And then, of course, you know, they just consume it. They even actually garnish it with literal Takis. It's insane. And if you ever kind of wonder, do they eat all the food? I couldn't really answer the question, but they definitely...
They look like it.
definitely eat more of it than most other individuals out there. And god damn, at least that's a Coke Zero, I guess, is better than nothing. Shit. Now, of course, about 3 weeks ago, Nikocado Avocado uploaded this onto his channel, alright? Now, if you're looking at it real carefully, it's still Takis and fast food. But Nikocado looks considerably smaller than last time.
He does?
Now, of course, if we look at Nikocado,
I can't see him behind the Takis.
considerably smaller than last time. Now, of course, if we look at Nikocado,
I will say that those look like just a handful of bags, normal sized bags that are pushed way up in front of the camera to make it look like he's consuming more than he's actually eating. That does not look like, you know, mukbang amounts of Takis. So if he's also slimming down to the portions that he's eating, that's also very good news.
in this page right over here, he's proud to announce some actual weight loss and a metric ton of it.
So excited. This is going to be like a recipe to show you exactly. Hi.
Dude, did Oompaville pull it off? Did he save Nikocado Avocado's life? He looks like he's lost years worth of weight. And I last watched like a Nikocado Avocado video, maybe like whenever those Oompaville videos came out. Like that's a pretty good, you know, weight loss. That's a pretty good progress on the weight loss train.
I know I'm skinny. You don't have to tell me. I lost 89 pounds, and I'm looking.
What? 89?
89 pounds in how long? In how much time?
Damn! Holy hell! 89 pounds is a lot. And if I did the metric conversion in front of you for the people outside America, you would also agree.
My arms. Oh my god. You don't even recognize me. I know. And this is not pre-recorded. Everyone keeps saying you don't post as much anymore. I feel like it's not old. What the heck? This is, first of all, you know it's new because this Little Caesars pretzel crust has only been out for like a couple of weeks.
Don't get me wrong, he's still eating like shit, but at least he's been working out. And ladies and gentlemen,
okay, good.
It's very noticeable. And honestly, it's good news because for the longest time, my biggest criticisms were Nikocado is eating himself pretty much to death. And I think he's kind of realized it. Like, you know, the last time I really saw Nikocado was when he was on the CPAP machine. Which, like, again, it's like, dude, once you start getting on machines like that, and the moment you start getting winded cutting into a steak is the moment you gotta start really.
Wait, what? He did? That's horrible. But I actually shared this I thought I shared this in my Discord. You know, this reminded me of something that Ethan Klein's actually kind of going through the same thing. I would actually be shocked if Ethan Klein doesn't hit the same mark.
A few months ago, Ethan Klein was getting a lot of attention for his interesting opinions on exercise.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just gonna be honest. There's so many better things to do than exercise. It sucks being fat. I just want to be like normal again. A lot of it's better since I've lost like 20, 30 pounds, but like it was hard.
Now, granted, you know, he is a little overweight, but it's not that badly overweight. But even he is recognizing that it's better to be fit than not to be fit.
Hard for me to trim my toenails.
Losing 30 pounds is an insane achievement, so he deserves credit where it's due, because so many people, including myself, clowned him before, but I haven't seen one video about his new opinion and on his weight loss. The thing that made him decide to change was for the most noble reason you can think of.
And also, I don't want to die. I've got 2 boys, and I want to live a long time for them and to share my life with them.
And I think this is the perfect example of how far you can get if you look for reasons to keep going instead of reasons to quit. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed these videos, and have a nice day.
Exactly. And, you know, and this is one thing that, you know, once you hear the stat that, like, you know, having important people in your life, you know, will raise your life expectancy, I think a lot of this kind of comes more into focus. It's a lot easier to understand, understand and stuff, because, like, I think that doesn't Nikocado have like I don't know if Nikocado has like a boyfriend or what, but I thought that he had someone in his life, like a significant other. Nikocado, Avocado, husband. Well, also, this brave sojourn in his dog doo-doo. Let me see. Nikocado, avocado husband. Okay, I guess he doesn't have a boyfriend anymore. But you know, he's been spending time with Oompaville. But and you know, I guess you know their friendship probably matters. Oompaville probably has expressed how unhealthy Nikokado's state is. And if you have friends in your life, you have people that you love in your life, that will kind of motivate you to make some more positive life decisions. That if you're single, childless, and familyless, then you probably won't be motivated to do, and make any of those positive changes. So I think this is just an example of that.
Really reevaluating your life choices. Again, I'm not making these videos, again, to shame him for being larger than the average person. I'm just saying it because, goddamn, when you're eating 10,000 calories every other day to record a mukbang on YouTube, again, fetish content, maybe that's not worth, basically ending your life early or over.
Is that fetish content? Really? I thought it was just entertaining. I thought people just liked watching mukbangs. Interesting.
Now, of course, the other people that have collaborated with him haven't been so lucky. I know this one hungry fat chick, who I only watched a little bit because she collaborated with Nikocado Avocado, still consumes an absolutely insane amount of content.
Wow.
And from the stuff that I watched out of her, she definitely doesn't seem like she's in the best of places. Genuinely, when you get to this size and your health is, in such a bad state, you definitely do get a lot of mental you definitely are not mentally all the way there. I'm a firm believer in how you treat your body physically is how you'll be reflected mentally. And genuinely, when I was a far heavier person, I will tell you right now, I wasn't even in the best of headspaces. It was a genuinely bad moment.
I mean, hey, the brain is part of your body. So having poor physical health will affect your mental health.
And to be honest with you, when I look back, the way that I had a relationship with food by constantly eating literal junk was pretty much a reflection of where my mental state was at the time. Some people cope with drugs, some people cope with alcohol, some people cope with gambling, some people cope, again, by constantly eating themselves into a state they'll never ever get out of. And even after losing weight, I'll tell you straight up, there's actual permanent damage that I've probably done to my body, which cannot be reversed. That's how...
Is that cardiovascular stuff? I can understand that. You can't reverse that.
Dangerous this ends up becoming, and that's why I kind of talked against it. So, honestly, in positive situations, Nikocado losing his weight to this point is absolutely a W to see. And it's one thing that, if this doesn't inspire you to enter a journey to better your own life, I honestly don't know what will. Now, part of me also wonders if this is because of YouTube's TOS. Obviously, Nikocado is somebody that was doing pretty well on YouTube, but content that Nikocado makes isn't usually profitable. Even if you get millions of views off of making content like this, it's still fetishistic content. Your CPMs are never going to be great, and it's one of the reasons I assume that Nikocado definitely did have a Patreon, OnlyFans, and a million other avenues of making revenue. Because he was never as profitable as your average YouTuber. Typically, the more family-friendly you are, the better your rates end up becoming. When you're making fetishistic content like this, I doubt your CPM is even close. You might even...
Yeah, because if people are only going to watch seconds of your content, then it'll kill your analytics.
Even be making less than YouTube Shorts producers, which are already pretty much creating content for free. I also have to imagine that this is due to a new update on YouTube's community guidelines. So if you didn't know, May 2023, literally this month, YouTube updated their eating disorders policy, where literally to produce content for the internet, they may now remove imitatable content, age restrict the content, and of course show special resource panels on videos for people to actually reach crisis centers.
Interesting, because I don't know why this keeps happening, because I don't watch her content at all. But there's that one lady who has a eating some sort of disorder. Let's see here. What's the name? She's a Twitch streamer. She's got severe anorexia. And it's very, very bad. What's her name? I forget what her name is. Twitch streamer with severe anorexia. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there it is. Eugenia Cooney. Her content keeps on showing up in my YouTube feed occasionally. It's not as bad as it used to be, but like 2-3 days ago, it showed up in my feed. I'm like, why? I literally don't watch any of her content. I had no idea why it was showing up. So, maybe they have not, they haven't, applied that to all this type of content, or maybe it was like an unofficial uploads channel that YouTube hadn't caught yet. But I mean, that also, I think, is on the other end of the spectrum, a very, unhealthy lifestyle there that YouTube, I feel like, should probably be cracking down on if they're taking this seriously.
Now, one of the things about their community guidelines for posting anything involving self-harm, which is something I talked about regarding this content, but YouTube went a step further and implemented eating disorders. So again, they said YouTube users should not be afraid to talk about the topics of eating disorders and mental health in a supportive and non-harmful way. If you have an eating disorder, definitely seek help, okay? There's resources out there. Definitely go against it. When I was a younger guy in high school, they talked a lot about eating disorders. And I can kind of see why. It's very easy to get one, and it's very difficult to break away from an eating disorder. There's plenty of people on both sides of the spectrum. Very, very skinny people and very, very larger people both have an eating disorder of certain kinds. They're not healthy in any capacity. They have to start maintaining some level of normalcy if they want to live long, fulfilling lives. Now, of course, you've also got situations where YouTube says there are times when content is created that is sensitive and may pose a risk for some users. So, of course, this is content that contains very, very heavy topics like self-harms. But when they talk about eating disorders, one of the things they say is don't post the following content promoting or glorifying self-harm, suicide, and eating disorders. Now, of course, obviously, nobody should make content.
I guess one difference between Eugenia Cooney's content, though, and Nikocado Avocado's content is that he is an obese man who's making mukbangs, whereas I don't know if Eugenia Cooney is sort of saying like, hey, be skinny like me. She's just streaming. So maybe that's the difference there, and I can see why, if that's the reasoning, why Eugenia Cooney isn't getting banned, or her content isn't getting like flagged, while someone like Nikocado Avocado's videos probably would be.
Promoting the first two in this list, but when they talk about eating disorders, I really hope this isn't as vague as it sounds, because honestly, mukbang content does appear to be content that promotes the idea of eating heavily, which of course is an eating disorder. Anything outside of orderly conduct is disorderly, okay? That's kind of what we're going with over here. And then you've got instructions on, engaging in eating disorders and including how to conceal them. Honestly, I think making a 10,000 calorie meal and showing people how to consume it on camera might as well count as instruction. See, I don't really get the vagueness of these guidelines, nor do I necessarily even agree with them. I feel like if YouTube is going to go after eating disorders, they got to be pretty specific. Otherwise, I actually think mukbang YouTubing may actually die out, given the fact that these are the vaguest community guidelines I've ever seen. I'm not saying this is the reason that Nikocado lost weight. Obviously, this just kicked in this month. He's obviously been on a weight loss journey for a while, and I'm proud of it. But looking into this content in the future, I definitely don't see the future of mukbang content being as profitable or as alive as it really has been. I know it is popular on YouTube and various parts of the internet, but
I actually thought it was kind of a fad. I didn't know that people were still watching mukbang content. Do people still do that?
Given how vague these guidelines are, I really don't see a future for it on YouTube. Not that I agree with that. I feel like if you want to upload content, you should definitely upload whatever kind of content that you want. Do I think that the mukbang genre is a bit impressionable? Sure. But I wish YouTube just straight up said, hey, if you want to eat gross amounts of content, either that's allowed or it isn't allowed. Because honestly, this could even affect channels like Shoe Nice or a lot of channels that do eating challenges or channels that cover things, regarding alcohol. Like people that are slamming whiskey bottles probably shouldn't be allowed, as that, I guess, could qualify as straight up self-harm. Again, I don't really agree with vague guidelines so much as guidelines should be specific. But anyways, I wanted to bring that point up because I found that to be a little different. Obviously, we get notified of guideline changes because we should follow and adhere to them. So I wanted to kind of relay that because it sort of played along with this Nikko Kato topic. But yeah, Nikko Kato, honestly, I'm glad this finale ended with him not dying of early because of poor life choices. If anything, Nikko Kato is trying to go right back to the original cute twink that we remember and love, the one that played the violin and captured our, not the violin.
Okay, that was some interesting terminology there, I'll admit that.
Sorry, no, the violin, and captured our hearts. The one before the mukbang era. And honestly, I'm all for it, ladies and gentlemen. So congratulations to Nikko Kato Avocado. And honestly, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of positivity in a world that is so bleak at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. That being said, though, don't treat it like that for too long. We're going to be looking at North Korea again.
Yo, for real?
Because things are shaking up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please.
Hey, yo, if he's talking about North Korea, maybe there'll be another, a positive weight loss story there for Kim Jong-un, Oh, wow. But this is actually good news, though. This is actually good news. I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see this. Okay. I'm actually going to talk about one portion of this CNN town hall. I think that there's one portion of the CNN town hall that CNN did with Donald Trump that goes beyond just the individual politics of the night. Let me see if I can find that section because it's in here somewhere. Actually, I bet I could just dig into the transcript because YouTube has transcripts now. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Around here.
And that's what Title 42 was. You put it in place because of COVID.
True, but you
Which, by the way, very obvious to tell while watching this town hall that she is, single without children. Anyways.
Comes to big questions about what your immigration policy would look like if you are reelected. Some of your Republican rivals have criticized you for not fulfilling the promises that you made on the campaign trail, like finishing the border wall. So how did voters know that you would get those done if you're reelected?
I did finish the wall. I built a wall. I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I finished it. And then I said, we have to build some more because there are areas like water going through a dam. There are some areas where a lot of people are coming. You close up one, and they come into another. And we started another 100 miles of wall. In fact, I said to my people, if we start this and don't finish it, and then we had a rigged election, I'm sorry to say it.
The election was not rigged, Mr. President. You can't keep saying that all night long.
And so then they took over and they decided not to finish it. It would have taken them 3 weeks. I built hundreds of miles of wall. If we didn't have it, it would be hard to believe it could be any worse. They're just letting people flow into our country. Look.
Okay, so here we have Donald Trump saying that he was working on building wall, and then he was like, they finished what they were planning on doing, and he was like, okay, we need to build another 100 miles of wall. Now let's see how Caitlin Collins tries to put a spin on this, and it shows off a very interesting rhetorical trick that's used for manipulation that actually I think Donald Trump tries to do back at her to a certain extent.
A country has to have borders. There's never been anything like is happening to our country right now.
You built about 52 miles of new wall when you were in office, Mr. President. It wasn't the complete wall. One other thing that with
no, but I have to respond to that.
With your immigration, it was only about 52 miles of new wall.
This is what she does. I built hundreds of miles. Some of the wall was up there, and it would be laying on the ground, rusted, rotten steel, rusted, rotten wood, and what the radical left crazy Democrats did, if there's a piece of wood laying down, they consider that a wall. I built 30-foot walls that go down 7 feet into the ground. If there was a little piece of wood sitting in the ground, they said, oh, he's not building a wall. We already had a wall. Because this is the game. They're a party of disinformation.
It's not a game, Mr. President. It's about 52 miles of new wall. One other immigration policy you had when you were in office.
So here it is. Well, actually, hold on. I'll actually let the rest of this play.
Built new wall
52 miles
for
according
hundreds
to
of miles.
CBP, Mr.
What I did is I
President.
replaced other wall that was laying down, that was up and rotting in the ground for 30 years. Some of it was steel that you couldn't
Mr.
even
President,
see.
it was only about 52 miles of new wall. But moving on, another immigration policy you had was the zero.
So here we have Caitlin Collins basically trying to mislead the audience into thinking that Donald Trump only built 52 miles of wall. And this is actually a rather interesting example of framing that, you know, you hear about the media doing it from time to time, but frankly, I didn't watch enough of the media to really see this in action, but this was a wonderful example of this. So the Trump administration did construct hundreds of miles of border wall, but most of that was repairing existing wall. Now, does this mean that Trump only built like 52 miles of wall? No, he built hundreds of miles of wall. And I think, you know, here's a question, you know, about being relevant, right? Like, does it matter whether or not, you know, Trump repaired existing wall? I think that probably does matter to some people. So why does Caitlin Collins want the viewers to think that he only built 52 miles of wall? Well, it's because it makes Trump look bad, because, you know, he's talking about building hundreds of miles of wall and he only built 52. It was rather deceptive, but it's just one great example of framing that the media often does to try to deceive the viewers. It's kind of unfortunate that she decided to do that. It ended up being a very unnecessary argument. They didn't need to argue about whether or not, you know, they didn't need to argue about how much of the wall that Trump constructed was new wall versus old wall. I don't know how many people cared about how many miles of new wall that Trump did, but what she's trying to do is make it seem like that's all he did, when really he did a lot more. So, very unfortunate, very dishonest, although I don't know what more we expected from CNN. But yeah, I did want to bring that up. I do think that was a point from the town hall that was worth mentioning. You know, I could talk about it without going into the weeds of everything else. Let's see what else is here. I know official Mike has been wanting me to talk about Canadian politics for the longest time. Let's see, what's this? I'm gonna load all these up. This is from my last stream, by the way. He sent me these during the last stream. He sent me a Wall Street Journal article. Don't they paywall all those? Bro, I don't have the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, bro, man, I ain't got the Wall Street Journal. I ain't making that much money. Okay? You think I'm rich? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Bro, do we want to do vaccination content? I mean, we could.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see. Pull this up over here. Okay. Let's see. So we've got this article here from CNN. Canadian diplomat expelled from China in tit-for-tat measure. Interesting. China on Tuesday expelled a Canadian diplomat in Shanghai a day after Canada announced it would expel a Chinese diplomat over allegations he was involved in efforts to intimidate a Canadian politician. Okay, it's interesting. In a statement Tuesday, China's foreign ministry said it strongly condemned the expulsion of Toronto-based diplomat Zhao Wei as a reciprocal countermeasure. Zhao Wei sounds familiar. Did you have me read about Zhao Wei before? I feel like you did. Interesting. Would declare Jennifer Lynn Lalonde? I guess. A council of the Consulate General of Canada in Shanghai, persona non grata. Lalonde has been asked to leave China before May 13, according to the statement. Tit for tat move marks a new low in a years-long deterioration between the ties of the two countries and comes amid a period of rising concerns in Canada about Chinese influence, including uproar over allegations that China attempted to meddle in Canada's 2019 and 2021 elections, which we've talked about on this stream before, is not unprecedented. Everyone tries to interfere with everyone's elections. Right? Like, I'm sure America's tried to interfere with foreign elections in the past. Interesting. I mean, kind of just skimming over this, because a lot of this is just like saying things that have happened before. It's looking like China's relationship with Canada is falling apart. And this actually does come after that one point where Canada had said something and the president of China actually took him aside. It was like, hey, no, not appropriate. Don't say this. You know, there are many ways in which, you know, the government of Canada is very authoritarian, and it kind of like echoes some things that you do see in nation states such as China. But that doesn't mean that these countries are going to get along, because they all have their own interests, right? You know, if Canada has their own agenda for their people, that may not align with China's agenda for their people, right? So it makes sense that there would be this level of conflict. But it's also like unfortunate because you know, if China doesn't get what they want, they could make things very nasty for Canada. And hopefully that's not the case. Now, you know, of course, the powers that be in China could always cozy up sorry. The powers that be in Canada could always, you know, kind of pony up to, or cozy up to China if they want to. I think to a certain degree that's happened in America, but, you know, that could also have its own detrimental effects to Canada as well. So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Oh, I guess he struck back. So this CTV news article says, we will not be intimidated. Prime Minister Trudeau says after China retaliates, expels Canadian diplomats. So this is basically China's reaction, I guess. This is basically Canada's reaction, I guess. Let's see, Benjamin declared, oh yeah, we know that. But what I want to know is, what did Trudeau say? Prime Minister Trudeau said his government would stand firm. Quote, we will take whatever action is necessary to continue to protect our democracy and show that we're standing up for our values and our principles. Okay, interesting. We understand that there is retaliation, but we will not be intimidated. We will continue to do everything necessary to keep Canadians protected from interference. Very interesting. Well, it'd be interesting to see how upset China gets if Canada continues to oppose them. You know, I don't think that China's the type of country where, or I don't think that Canada is the type of country where China would be willing to like go to war with them or destroy the country. But honestly, you never know. You know, these totalitarian nations do tend to keep us on our toes. So I guess we'll see. But hopefully they stay safe over there. Let's see. Let me pull this up here. Sorry for the silence. I'm looking for something because there's a bit of news that I wanted to react to. Hold on. There's some big news today in Israel, but it looks like YouTube's shadow banning it because I can't find it. Hold on, where is it? goodness. YouTube literally, I'm appalled. YouTube has censored this story to an important degree. So, you know, let me see if I can find, because there's a beginning to this story here. Let me pull this up here. Because, you know, there's more violence in Israel as, you know, Israel bombs Palestine. Palestine fires back. But it's not just like a tit-for-tat battle. This all, let's see here. This all began, it looks like, on the 9th. When some missiles were fired from Syria towards Golan Heights. So there were multiple rockets fired from Syria that crossed to Israeli-controlled territory, 2 falling on open ground, and 3 being intercepted by air defense missiles. Now, as a response to this, Israel decided to attack Gaza, trying to target some of the folks. Trying to target some of the folks in charge of this? Actually, hold on, let me see here. Israel. Let me look up the announcement, because I heard that they had named 3 people who were responsible for the attack. And they were working on like missile technology, I think. Let's see. Past week. Let's see if I can find this. I wish I had this on hand before I started streaming. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing the information here. But in any case, yeah, they were targeting some very specific terrorists. And that's kind of why they decided to strike back and decided to hit the places that they hit. And now Democracy Now!, they're left-wingers, so I'm assuming that they're going to be on the side of the terrorists here, but let's see what they have to say.
Overnight, Israel launched surprise airstrikes in Gaza, targeting 3 commanders of the Islamic Jihad assassinated in their homes. The attacks killed a total of 13 people, including the wives and children of the commanders. The Israeli attack broke a ceasefire that had been reached last week after a spike in violence following the death of the Palestinian prisoner Khader Adnan in Israeli custody, who'd been on hunger strike for 87 days. In this last minute we have, can you comment on what's been happening?
This is a horrific example, once again, of Israel in a long history, not only since this new extraordinarily far, far extremist right-wing government has taken power. This has been the case before in the willingness to attack Gaza, to attack civilians, and this was an attack on a residential apartment building.
Hold on, wait, so Israel is attacked by terrorists, right? We just saw they launched 3 bombs at Israel, and 2 of them landed. So what is Israel supposed to do? This is to say, oh, well, you're hiding in the residential area, so, you know, we're just gonna keep on taking it, bomb us some more. Like, no, that's not the proper way to behave. I think that Israel did the right thing here in trying to take out the terrorists who are trying to take them out. I think that this sort of mindset of being willing to attack the people who are attacking them is why Israel is still standing to this day. Because if they were, you know, the pacifists that some of these like flower-holding Democracy Now! Folks wish that they were, they would have been killed and destroyed like 10, 15 years ago. They would not exist today. And we would have a one-state solution. That state solution would be Palestine. Not saying that I particularly like the Israeli government, but I do, as a Christian, I think there's something kind of nice about the fact that Israel still exists.
It was no surprise in the middle of the night that children were among the dead, that people were killed in their beds. And the fact that 3 of them are alleged to have been commanders of the Islamic Jihad organization does not give Israel the right to carry out this kind of extrajudicial killing.
Okay, so yeah, I do think that a debate must be had about the ethics of collateral damage. But at the same time, one, we do know that the terrorists who attack Israel like to hide among civilians. And two, we have to consider the fact that, if Israel does not attack these terrorists, they very likely are going to just be destroyed and wiped out. Right? Like, these bombs are an existential threat to the state of Israel. And you do, if you're trying to say balancing the lives, trying to not kill as many people, would you say that, perhaps, having all of Israel bombed to smithereens might lead to more deaths and casualties than the ones that unfortunately happened here with the collateral damage and taking out these three terrorist leaders?
Kind of assault, this kind of murder by bomb, when there is knowledge that there will be civilian casualties, there is a desperate need.
Also, another thing too is, World War II, weren't bombs dropped there that killed civilians? Are you saying that the Nazis should have just won? Like, you can't support wars, or you can't support defending of citizens without acknowledging the fact that with war comes civilian casualties, comes collateral damage. And that's one thing, that's one reason why war needs to be avoided, if that's at all possible to do, because we don't want to see these types of things happen.
To go back, first of all, to the ceasefire, Israel's violation of it was clear and unequivocal. This was a complete violation.
Do you think that the terrorists who, fired bombs at Israel violated the ceasefire? Or do you think that the ceasefire included a stipulation for terrorists who wanted to kill Israel? If someone shoots at you in the midst of a ceasefire, if you fire back, there's nothing wrong with that. You're following you're doing what they wanted you to do. Maybe, you're following the golden rule, treating others as you wanted them to be treated. Well, they treated you a certain way, so booyah, they're getting that behavior sent right back to them. The ceasefire ends when people start shooting, and that's what happened here. So Israel fired back.
Of international law, international human rights law, and international humanitarian law, as the occupying power, Israel has the obligation to protect the civilian population. That's across the board. It doesn't matter what other forces are negotiating with it, whether there are negotiations underway or not. That is Israel's obligation.
One could argue that by killing terrorists who are actively plotting and planning terrorist attacks against their country, you are defending your own citizens. One could make that argument. I'm just putting that out there. It's possible.
As the occupying power. Instead, we're seeing the expansion of an apartheid regime, and one which is prepared to use violence at extraordinary levels without a moment's hesitation. And it's a complete violation, and the U.S. should stop its military support as a result.
Phyllis Bennis, we thank you so much for being with us, author and fellow at the Institute for Policy Studies.
Interesting. But that's not all that happened, because the terrorists actually fired back.
Hello, we begin in Gaza, where Palestinian factions have launched their largest barrage of rockets on Thursday. One person has reportedly died in a strike in Rehovot. This comes as Israel continues to target senior members of the Islamic Jihad armed group. We have Willem Marks joining us from Ashkelon near the border with Gaza. And Willem, we are getting these reports that one Israeli civilian has been killed close to Tel Aviv. But I know you're joining us from Ashkelon, and that is where the rockets sometimes land and sirens are heard. Tell us what's happening right now.
Yeah, during the last 30 minutes or so, there was some intense barrages of rockets, mostly heading north from Gaza just behind us. We heard sirens in this immediate area. They've been heard in other nearby towns and communities. We had some shrapnel come down just a short distance away from here, seemingly from one of the intercepted rockets, where the Israeli defense mechanism known as the Iron Dome seems to have intercepted one of those rockets. another much larger projectile came down very close to the main road, a few hundred yards away from here. And clearly, as we saw some of the rocket launchers go up, you could see that some of them were going on a far more steep ascent, indicating they were further range than some of the ones around here, which, you know, we're a few kilometers away from Gaza. It may well be that one of those longer range rockets, one of those projectiles, has reached much closer to Tel Aviv. Israeli media is reporting there have been several injuries and one death in the suburb south of Tel Aviv known as Rehovot. And clearly people here now taking shelter because of that intense barrage over the last half an hour, Doreen.
All right, thank you. Willem Marks, thank you so much for that update from Ashkelon.
And I really wish, like, it'd be cool if there could be a two-state solution here. But I just feel like as long as Israel's there, Palestine will always be sending bombs there. I don't know what it is that we could do to get them to stop attacking Israel. It's very rare that Israel will actually go in on the offensive to attack Palestine. Usually it's Palestine, not even, it's not even the state of Palestine itself, but, terrorist organizations doing, committing these acts of violence. So I don't know what the solution would be, because there has to be a way that, Israel's allies or something could just dive in, seize the weapons, take them out, and, Palestine is no longer a threat to Israel. Because I would like to see Israel thrive as a country, but they really can't if they're constantly being bombed. And similarly, Palestine cannot thrive as a country if terrorists keep on attacking Israel and then hiding in schools and hospitals and underground tunnels that are underneath the streets and roads, hiding among civilians or residential areas. Because at the end of the day, this is no one is really winning here, but some people are definitely losing, and that's the citizens who have to put up with this day in and day out.
Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza have killed a fifth senior leader of the Islamic Jihad armed group. 4 people were injured in the attack that took the life of Ahmad Abu Daqqa. 28 Palestinians have been killed since the strikes began on Tuesday. Yumna Sayed reports from Gaza.
Hundreds of mourners attend the funeral of Islamic Jihad commander Ali Hassan Ghali and his brother Muhammad in Khan Yunis.
Wow, and I think here we see one reason why this violence keeps on continuing. There are so many supporters of this violence here in Palestine. And this is rather unfortunate because this is just perpetuating the same violent cycle that we're seeing there in the Middle East. And until, this organization, this ideology stops getting support from the citizens, we're not going to see an end to this.
They were killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza on Wednesday night. Ghali was a member of the armed group's military council and head of Al-Quds Brigade's rocket unit. He's one of several leaders killed in what Israel says is a targeted campaign against Islamic Jihad. But Palestinians say most of the victims have been women and children. This apartment block in Khan Yunis is one of several buildings hit on Wednesday night.
I saw a bright flash of light turning the dark night into day, and then I heard 2 explosions within a few seconds. It became dusty, hazy. We couldn't see anything in the house.
And see, I don't know what fairy tale land these leftists live in, where they feel like there's always going to be a clean shot. Like, you think these terrorists are going to be like, hey, I'm walking outside in the Windows XP wallpaper by myself, no other civilians, you can kill me now. Like, what do they do they think that these terrorists are idiots, or do they think that these terrorists should always be able to just do their daily terroristic tasks without interference, so long as there's like a child or a woman right next to them?
Glass fell on us. I could hear the children yelling and screaming.
Several families with young children live here.
قد إيش سمعنا صوت.
We were asleep. We heard shelling, a loud noise. My father told me to stay inside, and he went to see what happened. We saw debris and shrapnel and
frankly,
destroyed houses.
You know what? I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this because these are all emotional appeals that try to get you to sympathize with the side of the terrorists. To be like, oh no, women and children dying. Whoa. We're talking about the leader of a terroristic group that's trying to literally, like destroy an entire nation, just destroy it to bits. Candace Owens once said that with the Nazi regime, one thing that really got people ticked off is that he tried to invade and destroy other countries, and that is the case. But when Hitler bombs other countries and tries to destroy other countries and kills civilians, that's an issue. But if Palestine is the same thing, it's all well and good. I say no. I think it's bad if everyone does it. Unjustified retaliatory military actions really should not be tolerated. And if you're having people who are just destroying countries, destroying civilians, targeting civilians, in fact, then it is completely justified to kill the terrorists. I think it's unfortunate if there's going to be collateral damage, but collateral damage to a certain extent is the price of war, especially if your enemies are hiding behind civilians. So it's unfortunate that this is the case, but this is how these things go. But again, we're kind of in an era where people feel like everything needs to be nice and neat and tidy, and we can't kill a single civilian. Not a single civilian, may die. But I mean, that's just not like real world, really. And then what in the world? So many comments here. The top comment is Allahu Akbar, basically. What? And someone said, MashaAllah, resistance should intensify more? Like, what in the world? This is absolutely crazy. The amount of people in this comment section who are brigading and caping for a regime that's literally trying to destroy Israel. I don't even think without cause. Granted, the whole Israel-Palestine thing, it can get very messy. I particularly haven't said who is in the right or wrong when it comes to Israel's existence, because the history goes back, and I think that pretty much every source of information is biased. So I tend not to really trust a lot of the sources that put out information about this. But, I think, the utopian dream would be for there to be a two-state solution, but Palestine isn't sounding like they want that to happen. Let's see. What in the world? Okay. I guess I'll react to this. I'll react to one more video from the Reacts requests, and then we're going to dive into a little bit of Halo gameplay here.
If you had the chance, would you give 1,000 people who are blind the ability to see again? That's what Mr. Beast did, and the internet lost its mind. Twitter was all over the place with their reactions, some going so far as to say that Mr. Beast, Jimmy, was the Antichrist.
What? Yo. There was one thing that's funny is that, someone made a meme video about Mr. Beast saying, oh, Mr. Beast is the Antichrist because, it says that Satan will come as an angel of light. He'll look innocuous. But this guy is literally named Mr. Beast. And he claimed to be a Christian, but he is no more. I thought it was kind of funny. But that saying that Mr. Beast is the Beast because his name is Beast while funny, is like the only link I could see that anyone could plausibly make between Mr. Beast and the Antichrist.
That he was doing these things out of a greedy motive, that the only motive he could possibly have was to get money by making a video. Jesus speaks about this very thing in Matthew chapter 7. And for us as Christians, it's really important to understand why the world is doing, what Twitter is doing here, is exactly the opposite of how we should be. And my fear is that some of the people casting stones at Mr. Beast are Christians. Jesus says this, "Judge not, that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use it will be measured to you."
Now, I've seen this passage quoted so many times that it's important to note that the point is not merely verse 1, but also verse 2. This is against hypocrisy, not judging necessarily. So, I hope that this isn't being used as just a blanket, hey, don't judge people, because that's a very reductive way to look at this text.
"Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take a speck out of your eye, when there is the log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you." Is this saying to never be discerning of what's going on around us? No. This is saying before you even look to another or what another's motives might be, first look at your own heart and motives. This is so often the step that many skip. We assume pure motives for ourselves, and we assume wrong motives for others. It's our natural state because we want to see ourselves as the one that's right and everyone else as wrong. Now, we could get into a deeper conversation of what Jimmy was trying to accomplish with this video. I think if you've watched the video, 70 million people have, you'll see that it wasn't just about making a video.
One thing to point out too is like, oh, he's making this video for money. Well, if Mr. Beast truly wants to help people, making these videos is how he makes the money that he can use to help more people in future videos, right? So it might not be about clout. It may be about raising funds to do the next charitable good deed.
And I think that that's pretty clear. I think some of what Jimmy does with things like Team Trees and Team Seas come actually out of his upbringing. He said at one time, I don't know if he'll say it now, but he had said before that he was a Christian. And so I think some of this is coming from a desire to help people and make the world a better place. And that's what Christians are supposed to be about. Jesus sums up the law and the prophets as this: to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. So I challenge you, before you look at someone else's motives, whether it be here on YouTube or in your own life, before you attribute motives to someone else, look at your own heart. And if you're a Christian today, I'd say also go to Scripture and see where Scripture points out the areas in your own life that are not in alignment with what God desires. Then and only then can you even begin a conversation about the speck in someone else's eye. Don't think of yourself too highly. Don't look at yourself and think you're better than other people. Listen to what the Apostle Paul said in his letter to Timothy. This is 1 Timothy chapter 1. He says this: the saying is trustworthy and deserving of full acceptance, that Christ Jesus came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the foremost, of whom I am the greatest. You see, Paul looked at his own heart and knew that he was the worst sinner he knew. What happens in our world today is we look out at the world and we see other people who we think are the worst sinner that we know, because we assume that our motives are pure. Our motives are not pure. Our motives are not pure. Instead, they are broken and bent back towards serving ourselves. If you don't believe me, take a look at our world today. Look around. Look around you. Everyone does everything out of what? selfish motives. Paul
Pretty
again
much
in a
true.
letter,
It's pretty
this
much
time
true.
to the Philippian church, says this in chapter.
Like, I feel like we're living in the era of everyone does what was right in the sight of their own eyes, which is, we see that all the time in the Old Testament, and whenever we see that, we see calamity. We see calamity befall that society, and I think that should be a warning to America, because I think we're kind of probably headed toward that same demise if we're not careful.
Chapter 2, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interest of others. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Christ Jesus. This is the heart of the transformation that happens in the believer, that when the Holy Spirit comes upon you and regenerates you, makes you a new creation, you're born again. This is what your life starts to look like as you strive to follow Jesus. So I encourage you today, don't do anything out of selfish motives or ambition or conceit. Instead, humble yourself, look at others, and see the image of God that are in other people. Encourage them to follow Jesus also. Because the simple truth of it is, there is no possible way to know and understand the motives of another's heart. It's hard enough to get to the motives of our own heart. I hope and pray this has encouraged you and reminded you of the task that we have as Christians, and that we shouldn't fall into the traps of our human flesh that the world falls into by assigning motives and judging others. Friends, thanks for being here. I'll catch you on the next one. Remember, faithfulness is pursued together. And if you want to see another Mr. Beast video I did, you can check out this one right here, where I think there's a lesson to be learned in that video. Guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Dude, this is great. And I don't know who this Jeremy Collins dude is, but I'm gonna go subscribe to him on my personal YouTube, because I need more Christian commentators kind of like in my feed. I feel like right now I watch a lot of Ruslan, but I also need some more folks in my feed. So I'm gonna give this dude a subscription. Very cool. Very cool. And also, if you have more suggestions for YouTubers for me to follow, join my Discord. The link is in the description. It's dscrd.ntwb.cc. That's the place where you want to be if you want to chat with me. But also, go to Area 51. That's the place where, you talk about the two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. Go to the religion section and share with me some Christian YouTubers that you want me to check out, because I would love to do that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment that we've all been waiting for.
A2000 EST.
I'll be playing some Halo. Just a little bit. Not too much. Also, I noticed that the proximity effect has been a little bit overbearing lately, so I'm gonna try putting my what's it called? My microphone a little bit away from my voice here. And just in case anyone is live and wanting to play, I'm gonna hop into the Discord. For all the folks in Card 3 who play Halo.
You went and painted the picture Picasso. Oops, Picasso, you made my heart grow.
Actually, hold on. No, let me see. Wrong Discord.
Don't you know having faith is a substance of things that you
Go see.
but trust me, you
Go see the fruits of your labor.
the king of my focus on the razor. Walking in purpose, I'm blessed and I'm favored. I tried to go fall in love with
With the paper.
show me love that will never waver.
Let's see. Hold on. Where?
Food that you cater. Tried to move fast and regretted it later. As long as I focus on you and your truth, I know I'll get the fruits of my labor.
Let's see. Where's Halo?
They said my time's wasted if I ain't chasing that cash. I said
Let's see. Although I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna clown on me because it's like fairly late. It's like midnight. Okay, here we go.
Lesson I learned from the seed is it starts slow. Trust me, you gon' see the tree if you look close.
Nice. There we go. Okay, I've joined the thread.
Things that you don't see.
You go see the fruits of your labor. All right. Bro. Dang, dude, I am feeling this remix. It's kind of fire. All right. Yeah, I wanted to let that song ride out. It's a very nice song. Oh, no, I should actually throw this into my own Discord. Because I'm very, very much digging this. Actually, why don't I share this in the... No, I guess there's no music section and... Oh, no, there is a music section here. All right, let's see. There we go. Sharing that link. Sharing this link as well. But all right. Let's get down to business, shall we? The TTS is unmuted, so you can go send in your chats and I'll react to them. Actually, I kind of wonder for the lighting, can I pull this off? Let's see. How's this, y'all? Can I pull this off? I'm guessing the answer is no. Oh man. I would like to be able to have some lighting that's a little bit more adjacent to this though. It's just a little dark. Yeah, it's a little dark. Oh man. I do think that is something of a cool look. This is probably closer to it. Okay, this looks kind of cool. This looks kind of cool. Let's go with this. Alright, y'all, so I've been checking out the Halo. I've been checking out all of the new things that have been in Halo. Halo has some new maps that they've deployed with a recent update for new season. So let's go ahead and check these out once again. I've been doing this systematically. I've been doing this for a few nights. But yeah, here we go. Let's play some more. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this lighting works a lot better. Like, yeah, this is way cooler. Yo, I'm feeling this. It's a lot more directional. Actually, hold on, no. Not multiplayer. Custom game. At least I think that's how I do what I did before. Yeah, no, I want to do a custom. Okay, here we go. Yeah, custom game. Custom game, here we go. Hold on, sorry, there we go. I'm noticing that my quality dipped a little bit. Also, what's this music? I'm not as big of a fan of it as I was the earlier music. So we've played Myers. We've played Chasm. We've also played Oasis. And I think we played Cliffhanger as well. We have not yet played Ecliptic. For most of these, I'll be trying to play 2 servers or 2 maps a night. This is what I'll shoot for. Hold on, give me a second. Sorry, it can get a little cold over here at nights. I know this means that the fan will be going on in the background, but I like not freezing my legs off. But hey, that's just me. What in the world is this map? These maps are so strange. Who came up with these ideas? This looks empty. Did they finish this?
Round 1.
Is this map complete?
Earn more kills than your opponents.
Is this map complete? Why did they make the map like this? I mean, I must say it's exciting though. So I don't think I'll complain too much.
Not today, friend. Halfway to victory.
Come on, let's go. Okay. Okay, dude.
Rockets.
How did that not kill him?
Beautiful shot, Spartan.
Where are the enemies? Didn't this happen the last time I played on a map like this? Who came up with this idea? Oh. I guess we were slightly outnumbered today, weren't we?
Lost the
Oh no.
Gained the lead.
Yo, I led my team into an ambush.
Power items en route.
Yo, does this game have no hitboxes? What the heck? Okay.
Power items now available.
Oh, come on. Come on, I thought I had him. Ah. Alright. No friendly spawn available. Okay, I don't even know what that means. Bro, for once I think I might have accidentally almost lost my entire team the round here. If we lose the round, I would actually blame myself.
They'll think twice next time.
Because we were doing quite fine. Like, they had -1 points. Man, they had -1 points. And now they have 15. Not while we've only gained like 3 points or so. Oh, come on.
The lead. Perfect.
Plasma grenades obtained. Overshield inbound.
Victory. Double kill. Triple kill. Round 1.
Hey, I'll take it. That worked out. It's a bit of a cheat there.
Round 2.
My recommendation. Continue winning.
Yo! Okay, these bots ain't playing around when there's no cover.
How tragic.
Let's go.
For them.
Wait, there's an energy sword?
Do be careful with that. It's sharp.
Yo.
The lead.
Ooh.
Lost the lead.
Ooh. And now they probably have an energy sword. Let's see.
Power items inbound.
Man, there's no more grenades or anything.
Power items have arrived.
The lead.
Oh no! Yeah, that was bad. Two milks. We will be enemies to the very end.
A conqueror's weapon. In your hands.
Right, time to conquer them.
Nearing victory.
Not today, friend.
Come on! Man, I'm trying to get the melee kill.
Round.
Okay, there we go, there we go. I'll take that, I'll take that.
Round 3.
Keep it up, Spartan. Rockets.
Gained the lead.
Beautiful shot, Spartan.
Nice, nice, nice. See, it'd be nicer if everyone spawned out in the open and they needed to get to cover by default. rather than spawning by default in cover.
Killing spree. Triple kill. Halfway to victory.
Oh. Oh. Whose idea was that no friendly spawn location available mechanic?
How tragic for them.
Nearing victory.
Power items incoming. Bet that was a surprise. Power items on the field.
Dang it! Oh no. Come on, I think we're gonna get him though.
Round one.
Let's go. Let's go.
We've got this in the bag, eh?
Double kill. Triple kill.
Skill, instinct, purpose.
Those are just 3 random words.
Killing spree.
Alright.
Double kill. Halfway to victory.
14 to -6. I don't think I've ever seen a spread this big.
Beautiful shot, Spark.
16 to -7.
They'll think twice next time.
18 to -8.
Resonance cascade confirmed.
Okay, that worked. Let's see, are they only spawning one at a time? Or maybe they're gonna spawn over here. Yeah.
Power items en route. Power items now available.
Grab the overshield.
Plasma grenades acquired.
Victory. Killing frenzy.
23 to -9.
Flawless victory.
Let's go. 23 to -9. That's an insane spread. It's like a 32-point spread. My back though. Oh, a little tired. It's So let's hit this last map, boys. So we played Myers, been through the chasm, entered the oasis, made it past the cliffhanger. We visited the ecliptic, but now it's time to head towards the Institute. Bro, the map is like literally the same. Are all these maps just the same? In the world, bro? Who designed these maps? These maps weren't even designed. What the heck is this?
Enemy Spartans are closing in.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Okay, this is pretty bad. I've never been defeated so summarily before.
Round 2.
Let's turn this around, Spartan. That's a confirmed kill.
Triple kill. Game complete.
Okay, how's that?
Kill.
Oh, you think that's overkill?
Killing spree. Double kill. Way to victory. Triple kill. Victory. Killing frenzy. Double kill. Round 1.
I'll take that.
Round 3.
My recommendation: continue winning.
Oh, you think so? I'm gonna try that then. See how it turns out. Why is I literally can't.
Enemy halfway to victory.
Bro, why is the game lagging so badly?
Beautiful shot, Spartan.
Like, what the heck is this?
Enemy team nearing victory.
No! What the heck? The game is lagging so badly. What in the world? I'm going to keep on losing if you keep on suffering this bad lag.
Round 4.
We're not finished yet.
Double kill.
Be proud, Spartan.
That guy was good.
Halfway to victory. Double kill.
Yo, why am I spinning like that? What? Cover me, cover me!
Keep a steady grip.
Nearing victory. Double kill. Triple kill. Round 1.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about.
Round 5.
Ever closer to victory. That one's not getting up.
Double kill.
This accolade is well deserved.
Double kill. Gain the lead. Killing spree.
I'll take that.
Kill. Overkill.
Not today, friend.
Double kill. Way to victory. Triple kill. Killing friends. Overkill.
Such beauty. It defies description.
Enemy Spartans are
Nearing victory.
They knew where I was headed.
Round 1.
Okay, we're going around, so I'll take that. But it's too tight. It's too tight for my taste. It's like 3 to 5.
A win is in reach, Spartan. Active camo obtained. They'll think twice this time.
Double kill. Gain the lead. Triple kill. Overkill.
I saw that. I did. I saw the whole thing.
Killing
I like those new ad-libs.
Double kill.
I saw the whole thing. It's kind of cool.
Another one down.
Another one
Nearing
bites the dust.
victory.
Enemy Spartans are closing in.
In the world? There has to be lag, right?
Victory.
Why? Why does this keep happening? Why do I keep getting spawned to the side of the map? Okay, I like this game. But I need to be able to play the game properly, okay? I cannot continue to play this game if it's just gonna yeet me across the map when my internet is fine, okay? Now, I mean, this is towards the end of my gaming session, right? This is towards the end of the gaming session. I'm not going to start any new matches. But I'm just saying. Like, we've been seeing this happen since this upgrade has occurred. It's getting very, very annoying. And I hope this isn't something that persists, because if so, it's going to very easily break my resolve and my will to continue playing this game. It's okay if it happens once. It's okay if it happens twice. And it's not okay if it happens constantly, egregiously, multiple times in a single match when my internet is fine. If my internet was jacked up, that'd be one thing. But this is absolutely outrageous, despicable, and unbelievable. This is awful. Terrible. This is atrocious. So hopefully this won't happen again. Very, very annoying. You know. We haven't experienced this on any of the old maps, so I wonder if this is just like a new maps thing. But, bro, this is a bug. They need to fix this fast. I mean, I'm saying. Well, anyways. Thanks to everyone who decided to tune in. Appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm going to listen to this nice Christian lo-fi remix of Fruit of My Labor by Caleb Gordon. And yeah, let the beat ride us out. Peace out, y'all. See more of you guys next week. I stream most Tuesdays and most Thursdays. If you want to tune in, I generally announce why I stream in my Discord. Make sure to join my Discord. That's dscrd.ntnwb.cc is the place where you want to be. If you want to talk to me, be part of my community, or influence what I react to, because there's a whole like React request system that I use where you guys heavily dictate the content I react to. So yeah, use that if you want to influence the content, because you do have the power to do that. But anyways, I'm talking your guys' head off. Peace out.
Oops, Picasso, you made my heart grow. A lesson I learned from the seed is it starts slow. Trust me, you gon' see the tree if you look close. Don't you know having faith is a substance of things that you don't see? But trust me, you gon' see the fruits of your